fake home. Investigators say Josh Powell never lived in the house he set on fire last week.
Reworking the records. The Utah legislature wants to pass another bill that could limit your access to public records.
And buying beer. People in one Utah County city can now get alcohol on Sunday, but some aren't too happy about the new ordinance. I'm Kara Teo.
And I'm Kelsey Eager. It's Wednesday, February 15th, and in Utah, it's 12 o'clock.
From KBYU and the BYU Department of Communications. ElevenNews at noon.
New discoveries in the Josh Powell murder-suicide case showed just how devious he was. Not only did he get the boys away from their social worker, it turns out he didn't even live in the house he blew up. The sheriff's office now says that Powell rented this Graham, Washington home but didn't actually live there. He set it up to look like he had a stable, loving home. They say Powell wanted to convince the state to return the boys to him, so he decorated the place with family pictures and a parked minivan in the driveway. The state court didn't give Powell his wish. The boys remained in Chuck and Judy Cox's custody. And whatever secrets Josh Powell may have told his father before the blaze are not likely to come out in court. These pictures of Stephen Powell are from his September arrest on pornography charges. The Powell father has filed papers with a Washington court saying he's invoking his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination and refusing to say anything about Susan Cox Powell's disappearance. She vanished from her West Valley home in 2009. Police there are still trying to solve the case, and this Fifth Amendment refusal is good in Utah as well.
Bruise, not bullets. That's the movement an anti-gun group has launched against Starbucks stores. The coffee chain currently allows people to carry concealed guns in stores like this one in Orem, but the National Gun Victims Action Council says it will boycott the chain until they change their policy. The council says the move is to reduce the risk of violence. A company spokesperson says Starbucks is just following the state law. And state gun laws in Utah might change. Utah legislators are debating a bill that could affect whether some people are charged with a violent crime can sell a gun. The current law says the state can immediately revoke their concealed weapons permit and they can't sell or transfer any firearms. The new bill would require an actual court date before the person would lose their permit.
You may remember the uproar last year when the state legislature limited public access to government records. Now that the 2012 legislature is in session, would they try that again? As 11 News reporter Adam McNevin shows us, they would, but they aren't forgetting 2011.
Last year's House Bill 477 would have restricted access to public records. Lawmakers passed the bill amending the Government Records Access and Management Act, but it caused an instant public outcry. Lawmakers repealed the bill when people began to protest at the Capitol, and legislators started to have their doubts.
One of the things that happened, though, is that the process was rushed, and it was one that I was uncomfortable with. I did vote for the bill originally, and then I was also one saying, look, we've got to pull it back. It was too fast.
Several lawmakers that supported the bill last year are currently drafting two new bills, which they hope will reconcile the difference of opinion in the legislature. In order to do so, the government will first have to define whether something posted on Twitter is mere conversation or public record. American Fork Republican Representative John Dougal sponsored 477 last year. He says he'll address the issue again this year.
My motivation this year is there's things that I've wanted to do in the past, and so I see an opportunity this year to improve the public's access to government meetings, government records, and so forth.
Richardson says the legislature will try to figure out how social media figures into public records, but says they have no intentions of trying to control it. At the Capitol, Adam McNevin, 11 News.
Lawmakers say they hope to make some state records available online and stream live webcasts of government committee meetings.
A proposal to open certain state liquor stores on holidays didn't even make it out of a House committee. Salt Lake Democrat Representative Patrice Arnett says the goal wasn't to encourage consumption, but to give tourists the option of buying alcohol on holidays. Those opposed to the bill say it would encourage more drinking and drunk driving. Even though the statewide liquor law failed, one Utah County town is now a little less dry. American Fork passed an ordinance that would allow people to buy alcohol on Sunday. 11 News reporter Rosemary Card shows while store owners are happy, some people feel hesitant about the change.
Ken Singh is the owner of Best Trip in American Fork. He says every Sunday he has to turn away customers who want to buy beer. As recently as last weekend, it was illegal to sell beer on Sundays in American Fork.
Sometimes some of them get mad and they're frustrated, and I was like, I'm not going to go against the ordinance and shut my business down for one 30-pack of beer.
Several Utah County towns recently passed ordinances allowing people to buy their brewskis any day of the week. Provo passed their law just 5 months ago, and signs like these popped up almost instantly. It's no secret that most people in American Fork don't drink, especially on Sunday. But the City Council recognizes that business owners have an interest to serve those who do. The council voted unanimously to open the cooler doors.
As early as Sunday, the people of American Fork will be able to buy their chips, dip, and a little beer.
But not everyone thinks this is a cause to celebrate. Pat Bird from the Utah County Health Department says this will lead to more excessive drinking. American Fork Police Chief Lance Call spoke before the council. He says he doesn't expect the coming Sundays to have any more problems than those in the past. They already deal with the people who drive to neighboring towns to get a Sunday beer. In American Fork, Rosemary Card, 11 News.
City Council members say there is very little resistance to the ordinance change, and the removal of this blue law was a long time coming.
The Utah House approved a bill preventing mothers from getting preferential treatment in child custody disputes. The new bill says courts can't discriminate based on gender, race, religion, or ethnicity. Ogden Republican Representative Ryan Wilcox sponsored the bill. He says courts tend to give mothers the edge, even when they are unfit. The House approved the bill unanimously and now moves to the state Senate. The Saratoga Springs City Council is exploring a change in their water billing structure. Currently, the owner of a car wash pays the same base rate for water as does a homeowner, but city leaders say they want to try a tiered rate, which would separate water users into categories like residential, commercial, and school, and bill them differently.
Still to come on 11 News at noon. Educational options. School enrollment is on the rise, but not just in your public schools. See where some parents are sending their kids.
And skating student. BYU has a 2-time gold medalist walking around campus. A look at her journey on the ice when we return.
What is the right amount of sleep for teens? A BYU study says 7 is the magic number, but this contradicts the national guidelines that recommend at least 9 hours of sleep for teenagers. Researchers say the new data proves that teens can still perform with only 7 hours of sleep. The study's professors say they will continue to research sleep patterns of different races. Many parents who are unhappy with their local public schools are turning to state-funded charter systems for some answers. 11 News reporter Karen Sullivan takes a look at reasons parents give that explain why charter school enrollment continues to grow.
Julie Adamick has a son with an anxiety disorder, and when she couldn't find solutions in public school she liked for teaching him, she decided to create this school of her own.
John Hancock started off as being tailored, and we still are, to students that just need a little bit more attention, one-on-one.
Smaller classes and schools are one of the poles of the charter system. Hunter Wimmer had trouble with bullying in public school, but he says that problem doesn't exist at his charter school. Demand for seats is still growing. The waiting list at John Hancock has more than 500 names, but the opening of a new charter school nearby may ease some of that pressure.
Charter schools emphasize different things from public schools. At John Hancock, they say work on science projects like these begins on day 1.
Like public schools, charter schools hire certified teachers, require no tuition, and follow the state curriculum. These parents say their children weren't being challenged in public schools, but the strong emphasis on things like science and math at charter schools pushes their kids.
I just think charter schools are amazing, and it's too bad that they kind of get the rap of being the Benedict Arnolds of the school system. But I think it's all about the kid and what you want them to do in their education.
In Orem, Karen Sullivan, 11 News.
Right now, the charter school option only lasts through 8th or 9th grade. Parents must choose between returning to public schools or paying to go to a private school to graduate.
Romney loses popularity, New York police arrest an 11-year-old boy, and Penn State University spends millions on investigations. Here's your look at the news across the nation. The race to represent the Republican Party in the 2012 elections is getting more heated. A new national survey shows that Mitt Romney lost popularity. 54% of people polled say Romney is still their man, but Rick Santorum is edging ahead with 56%. The candidates are now trying to gain support in Arizona and Michigan. Those primaries are on February 28th. In New York, an 11-year-old boy is in a lot of trouble after police arrested him for stealing a car. They say he stole the car and drove it on the interstate until police caught him and made the arrest. Authorities say they don't believe this is the first time the boy has driven a car. 2 weeks ago, the same boy was arrested for possession of stolen property. And in Philadelphia, Penn State University says they are spending $3.2 million to investigate former assistant football coach Jerry Sandusky. The university says money will not come from alumni donations, student tuition, or taxpayer dollars. They will use interest from a repaid loan from their football stadium expansion. That's your look at news across the nation. Kelsey?
When 11 News at Noon returns. Skating star. After competing around the world in the sport she loves, this cougar glides her way back home. And Bieber fever. Meet the young girl who stole Justin Bieber's heart on Valentine's Day. Stay with us.
Let's take a look outside at your 11 weather. We've already seen some light snowfall today, and that's likely to continue. Currently, it's 34 degrees with just a light wind. Going into tonight, we'll see more rain and snow showers, but really no significant snow accumulation. Our low is at 26, and our sunset, we'll see it there right at 6:01 p.m. Looking at our 5-day forecast, today, we have a high of 38, low of 26, some rain and snow showers like I said, but tomorrow the sun should be back and shining for us with a high of 41. Highs will stay in the 40s through Saturday, and we'll see that sunshine with just a few clouds. But by Sunday, it looks like it'll cool off again, the high at just 33.
Good, some sunshine tomorrow. Looking forward to it.
Me too, I'm excited. Get some color maybe.
Yes, finally. BYU students with an interest in the art of figure skating have the chance to learn from one of the best teachers in the nation. 11 News reporter Jen Jacobson shows us why this teacher is more than just a student athlete.
Good job, class. We're going to move on to the snowplow stop.
Brianna Hatch is a 2-time U.S. figure skating gold medalist, a 3-time junior competitor, and has performed at Central Park in New York City. In a decade, Hatch has traveled the world and performed major skating events across the nation. Hatch says the whirlwind has taught her what it takes to earn success.
Failure to plan is planning to fail. And so setting goals in ice skating is very important. And once you write down a goal or a dream, then it's cemented and you're accountable. And so it's so very important to make sure that you're always reaching towards something.
Hatch teaches her students to skate with grace and poise under pressure.
She has been skating for like 16 years and she has national awards, and it definitely gives you something to aim for.
Hatch starts class by teaching the basics. She emphasizes the importance of consistent daily stretching and staying hydrated, especially at a young age.
When Brianna Hatch was just 8 years old, she convinced her mother to drive 3 hours away to the closest ice arena. It was at a place just like this where she developed a passion and a talent for figure skating. Just 3 short years later, she was competing at a national level.
Hatch says she's grateful she gets to share these lessons as her journey on ice has yet to end. In Provo, Jen Jacobson, 11 News.
Hatch says she stays busy teaching group classes and private lessons from age 3 to 55. Her students keep her schedule booked no matter what.
BYU basketball probably won't have one of their bigs for the rest of the season. Sophomore forward Chris Collinsworth has been sidelined since November with a knee injury, and according to Coach Dave Rose, he likely won't be able to return this season. Collinsworth only played in the first 2 games, though, so he'll be able to apply for a medical redshirt to try to get his year of eligibility back.
Still to come on 11 News at noon. Superstar swoon. A young girl gets one heck of a Valentine. Find out why this superstar paid her a special visit. We'll be right back.
Someone stole Justin Bieber's heart this Valentine's Day. A lucky 6-year-old who's lovesick with some serious Bieber fever. Reporter Michelle Wright found out why Bieber made this special visit.
Justin Bieber made one little girl's Valentine's Day dream come true. Avalana Roth had a date with her favorite singer. The 6-year-old has a rare form of brain cancer. Friends started a Facebook campaign to help her meet Bieber. The pop star's manager got word and made it happen. Avalana met the pop star at his New York hotel Monday. This superfan was prepared with all her favorite Bieber lyrics.
Bieber, favorite, Bieber, oh.
Their date included a game of Candyland and cupcakes. Afterwards, Bieber tweeted, "That was one of the best things I've ever done."
Oh, that was so cute.
Cupcakes and Candyland. Sounds like fun. That's 11 News at noon for Wednesday, February 15th.
You can join us anytime on our website, 11news.byu.edu.
Thanks for watching. Have a great afternoon.